Hello and welcome back to the EMJ GOLD podcast, brought to you by EMJ, your number one open access destination for HCPs and pharma globally. Hello Jade, welcome to this bonus Christmas special. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Very good, very much looking forward to winding down for the holiday season. But before we do have Christmas break, we do have an exciting episode coming up today.
We are pleased to be joined by three of our lovely guests today, very lucky for that, from the past year, and they're here to discuss what trends they've seen emerge and really take hold in the industry over the course of 2024.
Absolutely, and I think we can all agree what a year it's been. We've seen some major advancements in oncology, gene therapy, obesity, rare diseases. There's been huge investments in infrastructure all around the world, companies opening new biomanufacturing plants. There's been a lot going on.
Yeah, hugely. It's been a really exciting year in industry. I'm sure 2025 will also be quite the thriller. We've also witnessed real growing efforts to enhance access to treatments for sickle cell, HIV and mental health.
Yep.
Regulatory changes as well, like updates to the ABPI Code of Practice and the Inflation Reduction Act, of course, have also shaped this year quite well.
Absolutely, and let's not forget the impact of AI as well. We've seen huge innovation driving drug development, changes in medical affairs, marketing, and of course compliance as well. It's been a real year of transformation, I think.
Absolutely agree with you there, but I do think that's enough from us. How about we hear from our first guest for today?
Sounds good.
Who's going to share her perspective on the year just past. So first up, we'll be hearing from Jennifer Schranz, who's the Senior Vice President of Global Head of Rare Diseases, Ipsen, who joined us this year to investigate the burden faced by women with rare diseases on the show. I know this is one of my favourite personal episodes.
Absolutely, such a good episode. In this show, we explored how the industry can do more to tackle the challenge of rare diseases and make a meaningful impact on patient lives. The patient's really at the centre of this one. In this clip, Jennifer explains why the significant trend she has seen of patients becoming more involved in clinical development was such a highlight of 2024 and why it could be a solution to some of those existing challenges.
What is the most significant trend that I've seen to emerge in industry in 2024? I really am delighted to continue to see the involvement of patients in all phases of clinical development. This is really not a new situation, but I see even an increased focus on patients in our development pathways. For example, this initiative on patient-directed drug development. It's really critical for patients to be involved in the design of the studies, the review of the procedures, as well as the consent form. And it is really important for patients to have their voice heard at regulatory meetings, as well as health technology assessment committee meetings. Of course, medical education for both patients, communities, and physicians is really critical, and involvement to hear the patient's voice on their journey and their experience with their rare disease is really critical. So I view this as not a nice to have, but really something that is pivotal to our success in clinical development in rare diseases. I have to say that at Ipsen, we've seen really a positive impact on patient involvement firsthand. For example, we have patient advisory boards. We recently were at a rare liver disease meeting and had a patient-focused symposium where patients were able to experience amongst themselves as peers and with the healthcare community what their patient journeys, their concerns are, and what affects them in their daily life. These collaborations are more than just a transactional arrangement. It really is critical to have a long-term partnership where we work together to establish the goals, which is really to establish innovative new treatments to take care of patients with their rare diseases. And it's critical that we maintain this supportive community and a framework of rare disease collaboration with both the patient organizations and the partnerships we have with them to really flourish and have innovation within rare diseases.
Well, look, it's clear to see that Jennifer thinks patient involvement is really key to success of clinical development. It is, I completely agree. I think it's something that has come up a couple of times on the podcast recently, so it's really positive to see that this is becoming more significant and did sort of become more significant this year as a sort of tangible outcome.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. And I hope what Jennifer was talking about does resonate with all our listeners as well. Developing those long-term partnerships and really involving patients firsthand can really help drive the development of those innovative treatments that Jennifer mentioned that are really patient-centred. And it's all about really keeping them involved and engaged, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of engagement, Pharma isn't just working to keep its patients engaged, but of course HCPs too. And this is something that our next guest, Martina Dempsey, who is the VP of Commercial Strategy and Operations at Astellas, speaks to in the next clip. So shall we hear it?
I think so.
The most significant trend I've seen emerge in the industry over 2024 has been the real progress on the implementation of omnichannel strategies for better customer engagement. As we know, omnichannel has long been identified as a crucial part of pharma's response to bridge the gap between shifting customer expectations on the one hand and how we engage on the other. Pharma has historically struggled to successfully implement omnichannel at scale. However, now across the industry, successful omnichannel initiatives in 2024 have really helped demonstrate the value of building personalised, seamless customer experiences. Now, the drivers of this shift are clear. The rapid pace of scientific advancement and the increased complexity of treatment options have completely transformed customers' expectations for timely, personalised information. Also, as healthcare professionals become younger and much more tech savvy, their preferences for communication and learning are evolving also, requiring a much more integrated approach. So in response, changes including the integration of data and analytics, the removal of silos between commercial and medical, and the expansion and coordinated use of digital channels to deliver omnichannel reflects an increased willingness right across the industry to learn and to iterate to meet changing customer needs. It is only by using both digital channels and human partnerships, effectively leveraging the full cross-functional field-based teams, that pharma can best engage across all relevant touchpoints that support patient access and positive patient outcomes. By putting patients, providers and payers right at the heart of what we do, omnichannel has helped create meaningful interactions that drive engagement and build trust within the healthcare ecosystem.
Now, as Martina said there, omnichannel has long been part of pharma strategy, but we really saw those strategies start to mature in 2024. We know firsthand from our data here at EMJ that HCPs respond well to timely and digestible information that's personalised to them. I think it's a no-brainer, really. Mass marketing is well and truly over in other successful industries, and it seems like finally pharma's catching on too.
Absolutely, it's definitely a transitional time. I think tailoring your content with segmentation and really harnessing the power of data, again, something that's been talked about for a long time, but I think we are now starting to see real progress. We did this year, and hopefully we continue to see that progress through to 2025.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Now, another key trend that we saw over the year will come as no surprise. Can anyone guess? AI. And this is something that Elias Revonta, founder and CEO of Orcason Medical, talks about in this next clip.
Hi everybody, this is Elias from Orcason Medical. So what was the most significant emerging trend I saw this year in our industry? Well, in my opinion, the answer is very clear. It has to be AI, as I'm assuming in many other industries as well. But yeah, the innovation surrounding AI-based or AI-backed solutions is really interesting and really promising. There's already a lot of solutions on the market, but there's a lot of development on new AI-based solutions, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how these solutions can start making a difference on a global scale, and how they can make healthcare more accessible and more affordable to a wider population. So that's really something I'm very interested to see how it develops and gonna keep my eye on.
Well, look, someone had to bring it up, didn't they? And a very good points from Elias there. He is absolutely correct. We really did see AI truly take hold in 2024. I think companies moving past that experimentation phase with technology, and now it's being rolled out on such a wide scale. There's kind of really no function where it's not playing a part now.
Yeah, definitely. On our side, I think we've seen the likes of Eli Lilly appoint their first chief AI officer. That was back in October. There were successful seed funding rounds for Revisto's pharma compliance AI initiative as well.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, there's been really exciting news in the AI space in industry this year. And patient side as well, like Elias mentioned, has developed a lot too, with these solutions really starting to make a positive difference on a real global scale.
Absolutely, it's not isolated little projects anymore. It's really wide scale change. But with advancements, of course, also comes some challenges. So we're going to get into those now. And I think kicking us off is going to be Jennifer from Ipsen, and she's going to be talking about her most unexpected challenge from the past year.
What is one of the most unexpected challenges or development that I've seen in 2024? Although not entirely unexpected, changes to the GPL or general pharmaceutical legislation in Europe is going to pose significant challenges for rare diseases. Europe historically has been a very strong area for innovation, technology, with great partnerships between the scientific community, biotech companies, pharmaceutical companies. And with these relationships and support systems have led to the development of medicines that at one point may have been conceived of being unimaginable or not possible, perhaps 20 years ago, when no incentives existed. The policies in our rare disease ecosystem has to be maintained. We need to ensure that the time and the commitment and the resources are supported by policy and legislation such that we can continue to create innovative medicines for these rare diseases. And it's really critical that we have this framework for this rare disease ecosystem that will nurture the development of innovative treatments, as well as ensure access to patients who are being treated for these rare diseases. I have to say, in the United States, we've seen a really positive impact of the regulatory and policy environment, where there are legislative policies that are allowing industry to receive incentives for drug development in rare diseases. And these are often diseases that previously had not received any scientific treatment or evaluation, period.
Now, it's no surprise legislation can sometimes be a challenge for the industry, but in this case with the GPL, it could act as quite the obstacle for the rare disease community. New policies can, of course, throw up challenges, but ensuring that resources continue to be supported by policy can also be a struggle.
Yeah, a really interesting issue that Jennifer raised there. I think we hopefully don't see too much of a hindrance on rare diseases throughout this development. But yeah, ensuring access, as Jennifer mentioned, is so key, especially in rare diseases where, you know, you're looking at small, hard to find patient pools at times.
Yeah, absolutely. But speaking of solutions and patient access, this is something that Elias from Orcason also shared with us in his unexpected development from the diagnostic space.
Let's have a listen.
What was the most unexpected development we saw here at Orcason Medical this year? Well, it has to be the great amount of interest from multiple levels of operators towards our sinus ultrasound solution and how to bring it to the at-home healthcare settings, to the remote healthcare settings. We're introducing our solutions to a global market next year, and we're really looking forward to bring the benefits of our solution to the B2B market, to the doctors and healthcare professionals, and help them gain certainty in their sinusitis diagnosis. But we're very interested in looking at the at-home healthcare setting as well. We believe that there's our products or our device, and there's a lot of other devices as well that can be adopted into use in the at-home setting, where they can be used to monitor different symptoms or different conditions and help alleviate the massive burden that many primary healthcare settings in multiple countries, I would go as far as to say, as on a global scale, there's a massive problem with the resources, under-resources in primary healthcare settings. So all the solutions that we can introduce to be used in the at-home or the remote care settings are something that are going to be very beneficial and are going to be bringing a lot of value into this ecosystem, and quite frankly are going to make better healthcare. So that was something that we weren't expecting to see at the beginning of the year, but it was great to see the interest towards the B2C market or the at-home setting. So definitely very interested to see the development on that.
Now look, there's no denying that primary care has been under a lot of pressure this year and the years before that, really, ever since the pandemic. In the UK alone, we witnessed the Lord Darcy report this year, which was pretty damning about the current state of the NHS. But hopefully, with some of those handy diagnostic tools that Elias mentioned there, we will start to see some progress as we move into 2025 across various different diseases.
Yeah, definitely. And helping to alleviate those pressures for both patients and clinicians could be really beneficial for the wider ecosystem as well. Speaking of HCPs though, and circling back to Martina from Astellas, she shared with us a lesson that she will be taking from 2024 into the new year.
Lovely, let's hear it.
The shift to omni-channel has also provided key lessons on how to drive innovation in pharma. We have felt this keenly at Astellas, where the success of our omni-channel acceleration project highlighted the importance of the need to build enabling cultural backdrops and behavioural shifts, as well as the data and the tech, to shift both the hearts and the minds in order for omni-channel to become just the standard way of working. Looking to 2025, as we continue to evolve our strategies, it's important that we remain committed to understanding and addressing the changing needs of our customers. A key area to watch will be the continued acceleration of AI innovation. Over the last couple of years, technology has evolved from being a business enabler to being an absolute business driver, with the strategic application of AI unlocking applications across the value chain for growth and profitability. We've already seen significant progress in the use of AI-assisted customer engagement to help pharma companies follow customer needs and deliver valuable experiences. Over the next 12 months, I expect to see the accelerated adoption of tools like Next Best Engagement, AI chatbots, and AI-generated content as commercial teams focus on delivering hyper-personalized customer engagement at scale. AI is key to the long-term success of omnichannel and hyper-personalized customer engagement, and I am really excited to see how the sector continues to innovate next year.
Brilliant to hear about the many exciting projects that were launched in the industry from Martina there, particularly the Omnichannel Acceleration Initiative from Astellas. As Martina said, that was clearly really impactful both internally and externally. I liked what she was saying also about enabling cultural backdrops and shifting both hearts and minds. I thought that was a really nice way to look at it as well.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. She also, of course, touched on AI again. It's weaving through the podcast, but this time focusing on what it could mean for the wider adoption of omnichannel, which is obviously quite a key implementation there. It's definitely interesting to hear just how big of an impact Martina expects it to play. For hyper-personalisation at scale, it would certainly be a time saver.
Absolutely. Possibly not possible without it, I would say. So much of omnichannel marketing is about making sure the story behind the breakthrough comes to the fore. It's about weaving that story throughout all those different channels. So to link that to our next clip, someone else who shares the power of stories with us is Jennifer. So let's listen in.
What's the lesson that I'm taking into 2025? On a personal note, I'm taking the responsibility of me to wake up every day and feel gratitude and to look for glimmers of joy and success. The rare disease community is at the heart of everything we do at Ipsen in research and development and my other colleagues in other areas of the company. It's really important to note that patients are not patient ID numbers or case studies, but there's a story behind every person with a rare disease that's personal and affects themselves and their family. They are fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, best friends. And it really is critical for us to understand the human nature of this, to push boundaries and to not accept failure and to continue to forge ahead to find medicines for these very vulnerable patients. I really am honored and humbled every day by understanding the journey that these patients are in rare diseases. We learn from them. We need them to advise, to input into our clinical development, to make sure their stories are resonating in the details of our clinical protocols and the data that we can provide to get approval for these medicines. Looking ahead into 2025, I really want to keep the human nature of rare diseases, the personal stories, the personal journeys, the impact these diseases have had on patients at the forefront of what I do and what my team does as we develop innovative medicines to make a difference for these patients and their families and their communities. It's really important, and more important than ever, is that we protect the vulnerable amongst us.
So there's a story behind every person with a rare disease. I think that's such a key point to focus on there. I really enjoyed hearing that. Looking at data top down, I can understand it can be tempting to roll numbers together and really analyse from afar. But in a space such as this, I do think it's so important to keep the incredibly human nature of rare diseases at heart.
I completely agree with you there. I think what Jennifer ended on as well was so key. She said it's more important than ever that we protect the vulnerable among us, of course, and I think that is such an important motto to take forward into 2025, not just in healthcare, but more broadly than that as well.
Definitely.
Talking of passion, that is exactly what Elias plans on taking into the new year, so let's hear from him next.
Yep.
What is the biggest lesson or the best lesson we want to bring from this year on to next year? It has to surround around passion. Passion is contagious, and it really resonates with your target audience, but with people in general. When you feel passionately about what you do, we should all boldly talk about the things that interest us and the things we feel are very important and we feel passionate about. That resonates with people. So we're definitely, me as the CEO and founder, but Orcason Medical as a company as well, the way we communicate, we want to make sure that our passion comes through and you know, our message gets out there and people feel that this is something that we feel is greatly important, and we can definitely make a big difference in the healthcare setting around the world and really help people. So that's something we're bringing into the next year as well.
What a great note to end on. To boldly be passionate about our beliefs is a really great lesson, I think, for everyone to take away from this.
Lots of good lessons.
So many good lessons.
So wise. Yeah, I definitely think we should all try and enter 2025 with some passion in our hearts and a well-deserved festive rest, of course,
Absolutely.
before then. That is, however, the end of today's episode. We hope you've enjoyed looking back with us and some of our former guests. And we'll be back in the new year, won't we?
Yes, we will, with another bonus episode where we'll be taking a look at some of our guests' predictions for what could lie ahead for 2025. But until then, it's bye from us.
Happy holidays.
See you in 2025.